Warm welcome to everybody who's here. We love being here with you every Saturday morning, and whenever you happen to be listening to this, I know Saturday morning is not the ideal scene for so many of our community members. Lots of sport happening in Australia on Saturday morning, but we do acknowledge you for giving this time towards your business, and especially this topic. It's fundamental to have this. It's sort of a foundation of having a healthy business to be successfully marketing it. And obviously in today's age, social, mobile, global as the new focus for Mannatech, bringing us, sorry for any of the young folks on the call, but bringing the rest of us up to the 21st century. So I was mentioning to Ty this morning that we're very privileged, and he's very generous with his time in contributing to the education of Australasia. We're deeply appreciative. And I know that these recorded trainings go a long way, and they keep on giving, so to speak. So Ty is an internet entrepreneur, author, and work-at-home dad who lives in Seattle with his wife, Rochelle, and two children, Emma and Tyler. Ty has been featured in Entrepreneur and Success from Home magazine and considered by many the founding father of network marketing bloggers. Author of the book, Double Your Income with Network Marketing, Ty teaches lead generation strategies through social media and blogging to tens of thousands of network marketers around the world. You may remember him from the Social Mobile Global launch with Al Bala and James Hannon through US Corporate. There are recorded videos of that that you can reach online, and they're in my email if you're on my email list. Ty partnered with James Hannon a few years ago, and he's a new presidential. We're very excited to congratulate him on that. And today we're talking specifically about utilizing our new back office in being the best we can in a social, mobile, and global way with our Mannatech businesses. So Ty, welcome, and thank you very much for being here. I'll just make you host.
Well, I appreciate that so much, and it's an honor to be here, and I appreciate what you guys do on a regular basis, bringing that amazing training not only to your teams, but to others who are able to plug into that great information. So I did see Rhonda B mention that there's only 2 weeks of annual vacation in the United States of America, which is technically true, but I found that I try to only work 2 weeks a year because I own my own business. I'm able to choose when I do. Not exactly, but I do try to take a lot of time off, which is fun. So the benefits of being a home entrepreneur. So super cool to be on today, and I'm going to jump right into the training if that's cool. So you see my face here. I'm going to pop on and give you a screen share. Let me make sure this is going to work okay. All right, now let me do one more thing here. Switch this around. Okay, we looking okay? Can you see my screen all right? Perfect.
Yeah, great. That's great.
Today's topic is the Mannatech back office, but as we go through this, we're going to really I understand that there was a lot of information shared about the back office, and what I want to really give you is ways to use the back office in a very, very practical way. And a way to just get your business moving forward and effectively use it. So I'm going to give you a couple of unique strategies to the back office that I found that I use on a regular basis, and hopefully you can take those and then put them into implementation and allow your business to take off. So the first thing I want to talk about is a question that I often raise when I speak for larger network marketing crowds, and that is I ask people to raise their hand if you lead with the product in your business, and you can feel free to put it in the chat box if you'd like to. I don't see what happened to the chat box after maybe I click this. Oh, I'm not sure. Anyways, not a big deal, but so I can't see your chat right now, which is okay. It should
be at the bottom of your screen, Ty. You should still be able to click on chat. Or, depending on what system, it might be a different.
Oh, I see someone raise their hand, but anyway, not a huge deal. Not to worry.
Posted.
Oh, there it is. Wait! I just found it. Q&A. Where's chat? More. Chat. Yay! There we go. Okay, I got it now. Okay, so raise your hand if you lead with the product. Okay, so just say, yes, I lead with the product tie. This is a really super important piece of the puzzle. So a bunch of people lead with product. Awesome. How many of you lead with the business? Go ahead and raise your hand there. Leading with the business. Not too many. Okay, so you can put your hands down. I appreciate the response. And unfortunately, there is one person that said it depends, I ask questions, which is the exact answer I was looking for, okay? Because here's the reality. If you're leading with a product or if you're leading with a business, there's that would be leading with your internal. And what I mean by that is, oh, I'm super product-centered person and I'm really comfortable there, so I'm going to talk to people about the product. Or I'm highly driven business person, and so I'm going to talk to people about the business. And here's the problem with that. Neither of those things consider the person you're talking to, okay? And all this will tie into the back office, I assure you, but it's very important that we get through this portion of it, okay? So if you lead with a product or if you lead with the business, it doesn't really account for the wants, the needs, or the desires of the other person that you're talking to, okay? Super important because we want to be authentic. One of the things that grew Mannatech to the levels that it is today, I believe, is an authentic way of talking to people. And traditionally, it's been about the product. But, you know, the reality is you need to ask some questions to understand whether or not the product is a fit for that person. I like to use an example. People say, there's a lot of people in network marketing that would say, oh, I would approach anybody with the business. And I would say, you know what, Bill Gates does not need your network marketing opportunity. He's doing okay financially. He really doesn't. You know, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, I think just passed Bill Gates in income in net worth today. And he doesn't really need our business opportunity. They're doing okay without that. So approaching anyone about the business side of things is in my opinion, a mistake. At the same time, approaching everyone about product is a mistake too. So you really need to account for the wants, the needs and desires of the other person, which is really a back and forth type conversation. And so to me, social media is really all about connections and conversations. If you look at my Facebook feed, you're going to find I don't mention Mannatech very often in there. Once in a while, of course, I did it while we were at the incentive trip and things of that nature, but for the most part, you don't see a lot of Mannatech stuff, because if I just talked about Mannatech products on my product feed, the natural response today, in today's marketplace, in today's world, is people will go to Google and search for Mannatech, which I'd rather them not do that. I'd rather me tell the story of Mannatech, or they'll go to Amazon and search for whatever Mannatech product you're talking about and buy it there. That's not what I want to happen either. I want them to get it through me. So I don't mention it very, very often. So for me, it's all about connections. I mean, like my number one goal on Facebook is to make people smile, make people laugh. Because I believe if I do that, once I reach out to them and make a connection, then they go, oh, you know, their mental, you know, picture of me is that's the guy that made me smile. That's the guy that made me laugh, right? So it's all about the connections and the conversations. And I would add that, you know, don't be afraid to kind of go deeper into a conversation with people. You know, my number one thing that I say when I reach out to people is especially, okay, so the majority of my Facebook friends are people that are probably already involved in the network marketing profession in one way, shape, or form. Maybe they're with a company, maybe they used to be with a company, whatever the case may be. Then, of course, I have friends and family and all that kind of stuff, but the majority would be connected in some way, shape, or form to network marketing. So one of the things that I like to reach out to those people and say is that, okay, so, hey, we haven't connected in a while. What are you working on right now? What are you excited about? And I tie those two things together because I want them to connect that I'm probably still excited about my business, right? And so asking them what they're working on and what they're excited about. Maybe they're in a job and they're no longer doing their network marketing business. So they say, well, you know, I'm doing some charity work, or, you know, I'm spending time with my kids' baseball team or whatever. And I would say, are you still, you know, doing a business, that type of thing? And so we can start that conversation, that back and forth. I'm not trying to pitch and sell everyone or put everyone in a simple box, because this is like the art part of network marketing and connecting and having conversations. And it's the fun part too, because I really want you to have fun. One of the things I was just thinking about today, raise your hand if you've ever had someone ask you if what you do is a pyramid. Okay, anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5. Bunch of people. Okay. The training most network marketers give when it comes to the whole, okay, not a big deal. It just logged me out, which is no problem. The training most people give is that, you know, no, this is not really a pyramid because your job is a pyramid, because it's got a president and some vice presidents and some managers and some assistant managers, and then all the workers are below, and they'll never get to the top of the corporate pyramid, right? So they try to explain it that way, which is kind of interesting, because it actually almost attacks the other person, which is not what you want to do. If you want to sponsor someone, if you want someone to buy from you, attacking their what they do 8 to 10 hours a day is probably not like number one on the list of things I would do, right? So here's what I say. And again, this is all about having fun. I say, of course it's a pyramid. So do you want in on the top where you make all the money, or the bottom where you go broke? And they look at me kind of funny, and I always like tap them on the shoulder, and I say, I'm just kidding. You know, Mannatech is a $200 million publicly traded company. It's not a pyramid scheme. You don't have anything to worry about, right? So you surprise them by not being defensive, and then you come to them and explain clearly that it's not a pyramid. All people want to know is is it a pyramid or not, right? And so have fun when you have conversations too, right? Because you're going to get questions, but let them roll off. Just be cool. Have fun. Like the Fonz. I don't know if you had I'm sure you had the Fonz in Australia, but the Fonz was like this major movie star and a TV show called Happy Days that ran for a long time in the 70s. I'm aging myself, but the Fonz was super cool. So just be cool when you're talking to people, okay? So good, we know the Fonz. Awesome. So, but don't be afraid to go deep also. So have fun. Don't be afraid to ask deep questions. Like for example, I was sitting with Ray Robbins last week, and we're at the pool, and Ray actually bought me a drink at the pool, which was super awesome. I'm sitting there, and so I pulled up a chair, and I'm just taking in as much of Ray Robbins as I possibly could. One of the co-founders of Mannatech, and makes a huge amount of money in the industry and all that kind of great stuff. So I'm sitting at the pool, and Ray bought me a drink, which is awesome, and bought my wife a drink, and we're just sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is Ray Robbins, right? So we're having this conversation, and the waitress came up and asked if anybody wanted anything else. He said, Ty, do you want another drink? I'm like, oh no, I'm good. I appreciate it. And he goes, so, and he's talking to the waitress, and he says, so what's your plan? And I thought, ooh, that is a question that person does not get every day. And she was younger, maybe 25 to 30. I would say probably late 20s, early 30s, right in that range. And he says, you know, I just like to ask people your age what their plan is, what they're looking to do in the future. What's your plan? And she just she had no idea where to go. And so you learn a lot about asking non-typical kind of deep questions, okay? And in person, on Facebook, whatever it is, don't be afraid to go deep and dig in a little bit, okay? So that was a training moment I had with Ray Robbins. It was awesome. I'll use that all the time, I promise you. Okay, so when it comes to your business, everybody always says, make a list of names, write down, like your top 10 people or whatever, top 100 people that you want to talk to about your business. And I would say that today, social media is your new list in a lot of ways. Okay, so it's a lot less pressure to that you put on a new person, because you gotta remember, a new person in this profession, in this business, that we bring them into Mannatech, they have a tendency to not be comfortable reaching out to their friends and family initially, what I find, okay? And the whole practice script, I'm sure you've heard it before, is a really good way to get past that a lot. But just allowing people to utilize social media as their list, as a way to reach out to folks, is a really cool way of kind of bypassing that whole pressure of building my list right away. Okay, so obviously we want to get a list of names, but there's some tools in the back office, again, that I'm going to show you that should help with this whole list dilemma. So thinking along the lines that social media, particularly Facebook, is your new list. Okay, here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. I think that the companies, at least in the US, they're going to look to do this company-wide. I had a talk with a couple people at the corporate thing today, and actually, like, beginning right now is an amazing time to institute this, and it can actually help you build some momentum into the Christmas season so that things don't drop off. I mean, the problem with taking 3-4 weeks of vacation around Christmas is that sometimes a volume drops in that time frame, which is something we don't want to happen. So getting some momentum leading into that so that you can then relax and have some fun and then come back into it really strong in sometime in January is a really cool way to do it. And it's what I've really looked at doing. I really go as hard as I possibly can until like the week of Christmas, and then I take a couple weeks off after that too. So I'm certainly love taking the time off. But at the same time, if you just run super hard leading up to that, and then it really kind of rocket ships you out the gate on the other side, it's really a cool position to be in. A lot of times, actually, what has happened with me is it ends up December and January being some of the best months of volume and sponsoring that I've ever had in my entire life. So something to think about. Here's my challenge, okay? 10 touches a day. And so what do I mean by touch? Not running around touching people. That would be weird. But touching base with people. I just shorten them to touches because it's kind of easier and fun. So touch base with people. And so what does a touch base mean? Maybe it's a text. Maybe potentially it's a phone call. Maybe it's just a messenger message on Facebook. What it is not is an email. Okay. I have people, especially younger people in the U.S., tend to they get started and then they'll just send an email blast out to their folks and think that that's going to build their business, and it does not, because no one attaches any personal value on email because you get so many of them on a daily basis. So, but a text is a little more important. I think that statistics are like 20% or 15% of emails are read, but yet 90% of texts are read on a daily basis. So where do we want our message to land? We want it to land in text. Okay, so 10 touches a day. What does that mean? It means you reach out to 10 different people a day on text, phone, or messenger. Could be you leave a message. I used to especially like to call at a time when I know, like if I'm following up with someone, and this is where the back office is really going to come into play. Super important. When I'm following up with someone, sometimes I purposely call them when I know that they're probably not going to pick up the phone. Okay? And the reason is I want to leave them a voice message and say something in that manner. So I'm calling when I can get in touch with them sometimes, which I want to have a phone conversation. Other times I might use the phone and use the message on the phone to purposely leave a message, okay? Might leave a text, might leave a messenger on Facebook. A combination of the three things. Again, this is where the art comes into it, where you're continually following up with people, because here's what you need to be aware of. It's not using the perfect words is way less important than a continual follow-up process that lands on a person's timing, not your timing, okay? So an example of that. When I first got started in network marketing, I actually, let me say it this way, 6 months prior to getting started in network marketing, I got a phone call. The person used a script and read verbatim from that script. I had a great deal of respect for the person that called me. I thought she's a great person. If I was interested in any sort of business at the time, it was a business type invite. If I was interested in any sort of business at the time, I would have said, yes, I'll come to the meeting. Absolutely 100%. I said no because in my personal timing was not right. 6 months later, a separate person, equally, I mean, I would judge them equally in terms of the respect that I have for each of those people. 6 months later, a person calls me, uses the exact same script that I said no to 6 months ago. And I said yes, and ended up getting started and building a decent business in that company. Not decent, it was okay, right? But I was a decent prospect, how's that? And so what was the difference? The difference was my timing, not the person contacting me, not their words. It really didn't matter so much. It was my right time. So if you have a process that you're reaching out to a number of people on a regular basis, that you are following up with them, that you're using different modes of approaching text and phone and messenger, and keeping in contact with them over a period of time, their timing might change where they now become a customer, where they now weren't interested in weight loss before or whatever, but they put on some weight over the holidays and now they're ready to dig in and lose 15, 20 pounds. Okay, so it really is important, far less important what words you use than your consistency. Okay, so if you go back and I mentioned connections, conversations, I would add a third C to that slide, and I would say connections, conversations, and consistency. You put those three things together, you will win in Mannatech. I promise you, okay? So think about how long it takes for 10 touches a day. 10 text messages. You know, you sit down, I mean, you could do it in 30 minutes, 20 minutes probably, 2 minutes each. It would not take very long to do this. And if you made 10 phone calls, it might take a little bit longer than that, but probably not. You'll probably get a lot of voicemail. Most people don't pick up right away. You know, messenger messages could take 5 minutes to send out 10 of them. It just really depends. And again, when you're sending messages, this is not like I did a talk on words to use and things like that. This is not that talk. This is more the strategy. I want you to think about just being authentic and using your own words and maybe getting with your upline for words. And I gave you that example of what are you working on, what's got you excited. I think that's a good lead. But have fun with it. And you can always do something I call split testing. Okay, this is a common term in technology. And actually, whether you like the President of the United States or not, the President, Donald Trump, does this all the time. I saw him in a speech about a week ago. And he said, do you like the term made in USA, or do you like the term made in America? And overwhelmingly, the audience said they liked the term made in USA better than made in America for whatever reason. Whether it rolls off the tongue better, they have a mental picture of it, whatever the case may be. So he literally was in front of an audience and split tested two concepts, made in USA and made in America. And to this day, every time I've heard him say made in USA, he has never said made in America again. So split testing is testing words, right? In technology, it's sometimes, testing different marketing methods and things of that nature, testing different email and different content on pages and things like that. What you can think about doing is split testing your words that you use. Maybe you try my words, say, hey, what's got you excited? What are you working on? It doesn't work for you. Maybe it's because it doesn't align with your particular personality, okay? So you need to find what words work for you, and split testing is a good way to do that. But tracking all of this in the back office is part of what we're going to continue to talk about here. So let's look at some of the numbers. Some of you are numbers people, okay? 10 touches a day, so touching base with 10 different people a day. If you did that 5 days a week, that's over 200 per month, but let's say it's 200, okay? Because there's only 4.25 weeks in a month, right? So technically you'd be getting more than that, more than this in there. But let's just say it's 5 days a week times 4 weeks would be 200 touches per month, okay? I don't know what your results are going to be in the first 200, but I bet you learned something. And you may sponsor a couple of people, maybe 5, 10, whatever, 2, 1, 0. Doesn't really matter. I don't want you to look at the results initially. I want you to be consistent initially, okay? Because when my son is a high level, he's basically finished with baseball now. He had some injuries and things like that. But between the age of 5 and 14, 15, he was a very high-level baseball player, okay? When he first picked up the bat, there's that phone. It's somebody calling Wanted Products or something, which is awesome. When he first picked up the bat, he didn't know whether he was right-handed or left-handed, okay? So he didn't know how to hold the bat. He literally spent time hitting left-handed, or right-handed. We had 2 mitts, one for his left hand, one for his right hand, 2 gloves, baseball gloves. And so we really, obviously, when he first picked up the sport of baseball, he really didn't have a clear understanding of how to hit. As time went on, a lot of practice, okay, lots of practice, a lot of hard work, he became to be a pretty darn good hitter. By the time he was 8, he was a pretty good hitter. Played up a little bit with some good, really good players. At the age of 10, he made an 11-year-old all-star team. At the age of 11, he played in the 11-year-old all-star team. They took second in state. At the age of 12, they took second in state again, which basically 1 game away from potentially going to the Little League World Series, which is a huge deal. His team was very, very good, but he was the top hitter on that team that year. And so, but it took a lot of practice. And so initially, we didn't really look at his batting average much at all, but we spent time on getting the techniques and the strategies down right with practice. Turns out in baseball, which is a very interesting sport, that if you go to bat 10 times and you get 3 hits, you are probably at the highest level, at the major league level, you are probably one of the highest paid people in the world. You probably make $200 million over a 8 to 10 year period of time. By striking out or getting out 7 out of 10 times, by getting only 3 hits, you make $7 to 10, 15, $20 million a year in Major League Baseball. Now, why in the world do we beat ourselves up or worry about when someone says no? Because here's the reality. Over your lifetime, let's say I'm 47. So over the next 20 years, my earning potential in Mannatech, especially with the new compensation plan, is probably equal to, maybe even a little better than a Major League Baseball player. because a Major League Baseball player typically lasts about 5 years, okay? I'm going to get paid a high level of income for the next 20 plus years, 30 years. I'm going to hand it off to my kids at some point. People love Mannatech products. They stay on Mannatech products forever, okay? So the business I'm building today will not only benefit me, but my kids and potentially their kids and in the future. But we focus so much on that individual no that a lot of times what happens is it kind of blows us out. And believe me, we're getting to the back office because all of this really super ties in with what I'm going to talk about in the back office. So 200 people per month, it's 2,400 people per year. Not looking at the results initially. Maybe you start looking at the results later on, but you will sponsor people. You're going to bring on customers. Be authentic, be you, be excited about what you're doing, not crazy, goofy excited, but excited nonetheless, and have fun with it and be cool about it, and you're going to sponsor people. There's absolutely no way you won't. And if you say, well, I don't have 2,400 people on Facebook. Well, you got, if you're getting 10 a day touching base with, maybe you reach out to a handful a day as well too. I think I've got 4,700 and a bunch of people in the queue. I sometimes flush people every once in a while on Facebook, right? But it's not hard to find Facebook friends, friends of friends, and all that kind of stuff that might be interested in what you're doing and what we're doing as well, okay? So 10 touches a day, 5 days a week, comes to 200 people a month. You're going to sponsor people. You're going to bring on customers. That's 2,400 people a year. You're going to add a lot of volume to your business. If you get your 10 most excited people on your team together and commit to doing this together, then extrapolate those numbers out. What if it wasn't 10 touches a day? What if it was 100 touches a day in your business? Okay, 5 days a week, 2,000 people per month, 24,000 people touched per year in your business. You think you're going to add a few hundred new folks to your team and customers that year? There's absolutely no question about it. That's the power of working with the team. It's the power of getting together and doing something great, okay? So here's the connection, right? Is you're going to be able to track your touches in your back office, okay? So let's pop over and, okay, so this is, I'm on the Mannatech Plus site here. Oh, did it log me out? Let's see here. No, here we go. Okay. So on the Mannatech Plus site, if I roll over to add a new contact, okay, here's where you can have, just fun with this. Okay, so let's say, for example, I send a touch out to someone on Facebook, okay? So I might say, I'm just going to type myself just to make it easy. So I sent something to this guy, Tribble, okay? And maybe I don't have his information, but maybe I have his Facebook URL, okay? So let's go over to Facebook. Okay, acting slow. My internet is extremely fast here. Okay, so here's facebook.com/Tribble, okay? So I might copy this. And so you could put it anywhere you want, really. So I might just put it in the notes section. So, okay, so I know that this is where I found Ty, that this is where I've got Ty, where I can go back and visit Ty, right? And then I might say, sent messenger message. You get what I'm saying. On 10/27, it's still the 27th there. No, it's 28th there. 17, okay? And that would probably type the message, what message I sent. Hey, what's up? What are you working on right now? Okay. So I would know that this is what I mentioned to them, okay? All right. Can you still hear me okay? I must be.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's great.
There's
That's perfect.
Okay, good. Something weird just flashed up that my speaker changed, but not a problem. Okay, so just some basic stuff here. Okay, some basic information. Know that here's how I contacted them, and here's the message that I sent via messenger. Maybe I sent it via text. I can put all that information in here. If I send it via text, I know that I've got their phone number. Okay, and I would just say sent text, right? And then I save it. And then I can go back at any time and say, okay, manage contacts. And here's Ty Tribble. And I can go back and start looking through here and seeing what I said and say, oh, you know, on the 27th, I need to follow up with that person again. They didn't respond, or if they did respond, right? So you also have, you know, this little thing here that all your messages are on, right? That you can see. I have none at the moment for whatever reason. I think it's just my internet is a little bit wacky right now. Okay, so any questions on that? I mean, that's just the power. Here's the thing. The power of the consistency and the power of being diligent with keeping track of what you're doing and who you're contacting, and then contacting those people, just touching base on a regular basis, you're going to be so far ahead of anyone else in the industry. You guys realize that so few people do this. No one does this. No one keeps really. I learned this from a guy, Todd Falcone. Two things I really learned from Todd Falcone in a big way. I spent some time kind of consulting with him and helping him move some of his business from traditional offline to more online stuff. And he's a network marketing trainer, really good dude, friend of mine to this day. And two things I learned that just transformed my business. One was how the notes he kept on a particular person. So when he called Ty Tribble, he could pull up my notes, and he'd have notes from every single conversation we've ever had, okay? And he knows when I should get back with that person. And another thing you can do is I believe you have the ability to create folders here. So you can create folders by week or by month. And I haven't done this yet here because I use a different CMS system, and I may move over to the Mannatech system as we go forward, but I've been doing this on my own outside of this for years. But you can create folders based on by the week. Okay, so if I know I'm gonna reach 200 people a week, then inside of each folder is gonna be 200 people. Now, if my plan is to follow up with that person 2 months later or 3 months later, I can go back in and say, oh, the week of October 27th or whatever, or let's say 29th, maybe that's a Sunday that begins the rest of the week for you. I know that in February that I need to contact those people again. So it makes it really simple to figure out who you need to touch base with again. And then you can add to-do items here. Which is cool. You can say, okay, I know for a fact that on those dates I need to touch base with them again. So you can use a lot of different things, you know, within the system that is already there. Okay, so and you've already gone through a lot of that specific training. Again, mine is more. I'm not here to teach you like the intricacies of how exactly to use the system. What I want to teach you is using the system to be effective in your business and sponsoring people. Right? Sponsoring people and bringing on new customers. That's the important piece of the puzzle. Now, there's a secondary piece of this puzzle, and then we'll open it up for questions. The secondary piece is I'm going to sign in my, I set up a partner account. I think that's the number. And, oops, there we go. So this is not my not my normal account. This is my wife and my account that we just started. Wyatt only has 900. I have more than 958 points, just so you're aware. I hope you would think so. So what I want to show you here, so this is your company back office, right? And what I want to show you here is, where's the rest of it? Where are you? Okay. Something funky with my computer that's not there is the rest of it. Okay. What I want to show you here is something under Express Shop. Okay, I don't know if the corporate folks have gone through this yet. This is like one of the biggest things that Mannatech has ever done. I believe that what they are moving toward is like one of the coolest things that a network marketing company has ever done, in my opinion. And this is the tip of the iceberg. So I want to show you how I might use this, and I want to give you an idea of where this is going to go from here. Okay, so let's go over to Express Shop. It is so slow. Let me try this real quick. Clean and optimize, that might help. Okay. So, yeah, it's not even showing the pictures for some reason, which is kind of weird. Okay, so this is Express Shop. Now, let's say, for example, that I have a customer. So I had a customer contact me today about Mannapole. Mannapole. Where is Mannapole? Right here. Mannapole powder. Okay. And if I click on learn more about Mannapole powder, it takes me to this really cool page that shows, product information, frequently asked questions, shows additional information like product information sheet, supplement facts, just about everything you'd want to know about Mannapole. And the other piece of the puzzle, it has this really cool add to cart button. So if I say I want one Mannapole, then I could go add to cart, and my shopping cart has been updated. Okay. Now, over here is this little button that doesn't say anything around it, but little known fact is that if you roll over that button, it says, oh, share this product with others. And there's a Facebook button, there's a Twitter button, there's a WeChat button, and there's a little letter button, which might otherwise be known as email. But this really gives the link. Okay? So as we go through this, I really don't recommend that you just throw a product up on Facebook or Twitter. Maybe WeChat if you're chatting with someone, right? But let me click on this. Oh, okay, it's now interesting. Okay, so I go here, I click Control-C to copy that, and then I click OK. Now, let's say I'm having a conversation with someone, and they say, Ty, I really want to know more. Let's say I'm having could be text, but let's say, for example, I'm having an instant messenger conversation, and I can't, for some reason, mine is not coming up. But I'm having a messenger conversation on Facebook, okay? I can, let's see here. Let me try this one more time. This is just weird. Okay, there we go. Is that better? No, still haven't. There may be something wrong with Facebook. Probably my speed on my computer is just actually crazy fast. Okay, here. There we go. So Sharon and I are having a conversation. Okay, and this was just me making sure that I'm going to be on the right time because it's like 3 o'clock my time. It's a different time your time. So I could say, Sharon, here is the link with info about Mannapole. I don't remember how to spell Maniple, but I think that's close. Okay, so I wouldn't just randomly send Sharon a link, but if we were having the conversation and say, yeah, I really want to know more information about this. In fact, I might be interested in buying. Okay, so if they get to that point, then you can send them a link like that. And so Sharon, if you buy from my link, I'll get credit, which would be awesome. Just buy all your Maniple from me. Kidding, of course. But this actually, there's something really weird going on with Facebook right now. But typically what it would do is it will send to Sharon, and it'll show up as a little picture with a link right in the messenger. Okay, you could do the same thing on text. Obviously can't do it over the phone, but here's the next piece of the puzzle I want to show you. Let's say, for example, that Sharon said, yeah, you know what, Ty? You've talked to me. I watched that video on Maniple. You've explained it all to me, and I'm ready to buy. Okay, so I added it to the cart. Remember when I did that? And then I'm going to come up here and okay. Oh, review cart. Okay, I'm like, hey, I think I'd do that. Review the cart. Now, what do we see right here, my friends? Oh, that same little thing. So this is actually a cart. And I would go, oh, there we go. I'm going to copy that, click OK. So now I can actually send Sharon not just to the page where she can add something to the cart. I could actually send her to a page that is, oh, because I'm logged in, it's not showing up right. Let me do this. I'm going to log out, and then we'll do it again. So if you're testing this, just remember you cannot be logged in, okay? Because it doesn't come up right. Okay. So now, guest cart, but what's up here? It's my information. So if I sent Sharon this cart, I could put anything in that cart. Okay, anything in that cart. Yeah, you could use that same link, as far as I know, over and over again. It's not unique each time. It's like the same link, coded to your business. Now, here's what I want to give you as a peek forward, okay? Well, I mean, you could sign someone up. You could put a startup package in there. You could put anything in the cart you want and send it to a person. And now you're beyond like hoping that they get the right thing or having to spend, an hour on the phone with them to get the order placed and having to call it in and all that stuff, which is great. But wouldn't it be cool to save some time and be able to send them a cart and say, okay, just click continue. And then you're going to get asked, I think it's like whether you want to be an associate or a customer. I think this would actually just go to the customer. But anyways, it's running a little bit slow today. Oh, here we go. Say, then you enter your personal information, and then they go through the process. Really super simple. And by the way, we're working on this process, so the passwords are, I think, going to be easier to figure out in the near future. And that's all I'll say about that, but I just know for a fact that that's where we're heading. So let me just talk about the future, and then we will we'll take questions. Okay, so the future of this, what if I think the Mannatech Plus sites are really cool. There's a couple that I want to use, but what if when you're logged in, you want to share something about, let's say, Mission 5 Million. Okay? And you want to share this particular Mission 5 Million page with someone because you know that that's where their heart's at, that that's what they're interested in. Eventually, at some point, there'll be the little share thing here. You'll be able to click on it. You'll be able to copy that link and send it to anyone, right? You know, it'll work that way with products. It would work that way with news articles about Mannatech, on and on and on. You know, oh, here's a recipe for pumpkin pie shake, right? So at some point, you're going to have a little button that says share that you can take and then share with anybody you want. So now, if I had a recipe like this that I could share on Facebook, that is a non-intrusive way to share information on Facebook, something that I would absolutely 100% be behind sharing, a recipe, okay? But if it was on a page that then had, oh, I could shop for this pumpkin spice, True Health, True Plenish shake right here. I can buy it now. That's pretty cool. Click. Who gets the credit for it? You do. Okay. So this is the future. And I know for a fact they're working on all this stuff. And so please don't go to them and ask them and say, hey, Ty said this is the future. When is it coming out? I don't know when it's coming out. But I just know that I'm certain that this is the way they're going. It's really, really cool. But remember, you know, so if we just go back for a second, how techie is it to touch base with 10 people on Facebook? Like, what, you have to know a bunch of technology stuff to do that, to scroll. And here's what I would recommend. I mean, this is an easy way to do it. But maybe you go to the bottom of your friends list. Okay, so I click on my friends, and then I could just scroll, and it can take time for sure. But I just scroll to the bottom of my friends list because those are the people that are least engaged with you to start with, and then just start reaching out to those people. Is that like a big time technical challenge? I don't think so, right? You can just click on here, you just scroll over it and send a message. And then type something in, okay? And it's just a matter of touching base with way more people than you would normally ever do so. This is where technology is really super crazy powerful and way beyond what our expectations might have been. I mean, imagine literally have to pick up the phone to contact 10 people a night. The weight of the phone for me was unbelievably heavy because I was very afraid of it to start with. But if I know that I might make a couple phone calls, even though it's outside of my comfort zone a little bit, but I know for a fact I can pop onto Facebook and just say, hey, you know, haven't heard from you for a while and just wanted to say hey, and you know, what are you working on right now? What's got you excited? It's easy, it's fun, and it's numbers. 10 a day, 10 a day, 10 a day, 10 a day, take a break, 10 a day, 10 a day, 10 a day, take a break. Next thing you know, you got 200 people. And then if you keep track of them in your contacts, okay, so make sure you're keeping those diligent notes on each person. Add a to-do list when to follow up with them again, and you know, date the folders. You know, October. Maybe if you think about there's 4 weeks in a month, I might go October 4. So 4th week of October. October 1, 2, 3, 4. So next week we're into November. I go November 1. Okay. And then you got 4 folders to put these people into, and boom, 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 boom. I mean, you're just having fun with it. There's no pressure. It's easy. Okay, so really a fun way to build a business. And then it's all about just, you know, once you compiled all these 200 people a month, you know, after 5 months, you've touched base with 1,000 people. Your business will change again, and then take it to the next level by getting together a group of people. Maybe it's 5 people to start with. Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 20. Get people together and challenge each other to do the same. Hold each other accountable. Make sure that you're touching base on a regular basis. Hey, did you get your tin? And what kind of things are you saying that's working? How are you doing with it? Because different marketplaces are different. Okay. Do I need to add them to an email list? I wouldn't. This is completely outside of email. Okay. I'm strictly talking about personal contacting, because I mean that's what we want to do. This is what separates us from the rest of the world, is our personal connection and conversations that we can have with people, and it really puts us in a completely different. Anybody can get added to an email list, okay, and that's okay. But I'm talking about taking the newest person who might be technology phobic a little bit and say, okay, forget technology. Let's use the tools that we have, the technology, to make this easier, to make it very doable. So you get together a group of people on your team and you say, I'm committed to do 10 a day, and then you go for it. And then all of a sudden your numbers are 24,000 in a year, 100,000 a year. It's crazy. And when you start going through that number of people, you're going to sponsor people. Was that helpful? I hope. Does that make sense? I'm happy. I took longer than I suspected, but I'm happy to answer any questions if we've got time. So yeah, build a connection, and eventually a need shows up, and you can address that. Yeah, and I always, move the conversation in the direction of business, products, things of that nature, when possible, but naturally. Okay, naturally. Send a video on Messenger. Very, very easy. So you find the video, copy that link, and shoot it over. Just copy and paste. Yeah. It is just, let me wrap this up by saying, super pleasure to be on here today with you guys, and look forward to come back and do it again, of course. Look forward to one of these days I'm gonna get down to Australia and meet you guys in person, and it will be my pleasure for sure. But always fun, and I'm just honored to help out in any way I can.
Ty, it was brilliant. I know that's been very, very helpful for people, and they've got something that they can take away and start today. Really appreciate it, everybody. As I said, I don't know who's on next week. If you have any bright ideas, send them to me. Otherwise, I always find someone. Ty, very grateful. You've done a brilliant job for us all these times, and we're very appreciative.
Not a problem. Hey, enjoy your weekend, you guys. And when you get your 10, let me know if I can help out in any way.
Thanks, everyone.